Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Radiant Black podcast. This is a show where we talk about Radiant Black and all the MassiveVerse titles. Ironically enough, today we're not going to be talking about the MassiveVerse. We're going to be talking about a book by creators who've done books in the MassiveVerse. I'm your host, Bash, and I'm joined by my friends and my fellow hosts, Firefly and Charlie. How's everyone doing today?
Doing good. Yeah, we've been talking about Midlife for a long time, since it was coming out, and I'm excited that we finally have the trade with a nice surprise on the back cover, and excited to get into it. How about you, Charlie?
Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, no, doing good. Been excited for this one, to get into this. Just an amazing story so far. Kind of something a little different than we normally talk about, but something amazing nonetheless. And yeah, it's awesome. Actually, kind of a little spoiler for Supermassive. Skip 30 seconds if you haven't, but I think you could make the argument it could be somehow connected to the MassiveVerse in some ways. So yeah, incredible story, and can't wait to get into it. How are you doing, Bash?
Good. Yeah, you guys know I love this book ever since we had our interview with Brian Buccellato, the writer, who, if you want to check out that interview, it's in the link below. Check it out. We had a lot of fun talking to him. That's where he first sent us the PDFs to the first two issues of Midlife. We read it. I loved it immediately. It was love at first, bat nipple comment. And, really enjoyed it. That's how the book kicks off. I think one thing Brian's always been really good at is the earnest and snappy dialogue. I love that in this book. There's a lot of it. Some of my favorite moments in this book are just people just yelling at each other, and it's fantastic. I do also love the little homage Easter egg to Chicken Devil with Mitch's Hot Chicken. So in the series, so I thought that was a lovely little homage Easter egg. So I do really enjoy that. And if you haven't read Chicken Devil by Brian Buccellato and Hayden Sherman, oh my God, you're missing out on an amazing book. It's a must read, especially for fans of things like Breaking Bad. But yeah, this is one I've been looking forward to. And real quick before we dive into the review, where we're just going to talk about, generally our favorite things, our favorite moments, what we enjoyed about it. Let's talk about the creative team and the solicit / the description. So, creative team is Brian Buccellato writing, Stefano Simeone on art and colors, which are gorgeous, and Hassan Atsman El-How on the letters. So we've got New York Times bestselling writer Brian Buccellato teams up with star artist Stefano Simeone to tell a totally relatable, sometimes cringy story of a middle-aged dad who's about to find out that his new powers have major strings attached. Ruben Kwan is a 50-year-old firefighter who's been afraid of fire his whole life. Living in the shadow of his father, who died a hero on the job, he's firmly in the middle of an unremarkable life until his new wife gets pregnant and a random act of courage reveals that Ruben is fireproof. He embarks on a mission of heroism in this relatable, sometimes cringy story of a middle-aged dad who discovered that his powers have major strings attached. So they repeated the line. So basically, that's why it's called Midlife, obviously. And we're gonna dive into a lot of spoilers. So without further ado, guys, I love this book. I bought it single issues when it was coming out. Then I bought the trade because, first of all, I love the story. And then second, Brian Buccellato asked me if I wanted to contribute a pull quote to the series, and which I did, which is on the back of the book, as you can see there, from Fabulous Charlie. And it has the Radiant Black podcast name in all its glory there as well, which I'm very proud of. So thank you so much to Brian for that. And yeah, this book, awesome. It's different, and I think that's the thing that I like the most about it, is that unlike most superhero comic books, there's usually someone's kicking someone's ass, right? Which is some fighting, big battles, things like that. I really like the different approach to this book of someone just really navigating their life at a different time in their life, like something that they're really unfamiliar with. Like, it's interesting to see someone struggle with things that are, new to them, or in some cases familiar to them, but different, like with having, different kids, and they get stuck with their nephew, right? Right. He tells them, one of my favorite moments when she tells them, "We're out of the good ice cream." Yeah. So I mean, that's the kind of thing that I loved about this book, is that it was really different, and it tried really hard to be different, and I think it succeeded. And I really hope that this isn't the end of the series. I know it's 6 issues so far, and it says end of story arc, so they could come back with the 7th issue in the future, and I sincerely hope they do. What about you guys?
I think it's super interesting. I think it's first of all a cool take. Ruben, like obviously his dad, as we know, he was a firefighter, and we were talking a little behind the scenes. just the pressure that goes on him to becoming a firefighter. But I think him, a lot of his guilt and him not feeling like he's lived up to what his dad kind of became is because like he wants to become a firefighter, but he has this terror in fire, so he's not really able to go out and do everything kind of his dad was, which is kind of what he wanted as a child, to help people and just looking up to his dad so much. So yeah, like you said, I think, and like the characters, like all that was super cool. And I think what was also really cool, and I think you guys can correct me, is it's like the superhero stuff is almost like such a
Yeah.
side part of this book. And you could almost even argue like it's not even a superhero book.
Yeah.
It has elements of that, but it's more just someone who wants to be a good person and a hero and kind of find their meaning in life. But I think, yeah, what this book really does is just like kind of showing like no matter what age or kind of what point you are in life, that kind of you can always find your true calling, kind of, and something kind of you're meant to do at no matter what point in life you are. So I think he killed it, and it gave me kind of a new perspective on characters. Kind of, I didn't really, because you don't really get this a lot, like kind of diving into this perspective.
Yeah.
So I thought it was great, and yeah, it was very well done.
And to echo what you were saying, that's one of my favorite parts about the book is that it is something new. You don't really get an origin story of someone in their 50s as their superhero, and that's why I like that they kind of kept the name.
But
had
they
a hero
also
in
like you said, they have the subtle like components of what make a superhero comic book story. And I don't
Yes.
want to like
Yeah.
I guess we are talking spoilers. They have the superhero legacy aspect,
Yeah.
right? When you find
Yes.
out like the mom was the real superhero and that she passed on the genes and the abilities.
And I felt like it
basically.
carried a lot of more weight behind it because
Yeah.
the book didn't have that like vibe to it. Is that it's gonna be so grand and there's gonna be like this ancient
Yeah,
order
they
that's
juxtapose it with her being a
yeah.
human constantly because it's
Yeah,
like
Yeah.
if you remember the flashbacks, it's him as a kid like saying, "Oh, I love dad more. He risks his life every day. Like you do, like what you do is so easy. You're a mom." But like when you're looking at it from like, because the book is written to a Gen X through a Gen X context, and it's meant to be like for midlife, right? People in their midlife. And when you look at it through the context of like Ruben, he's probably like thinking like, no, it's so hard to be a parent. Like, look, I'm struggling to be a good parent. I'm struggling to be there for you. I'm seeing what a bad parent can do to a child's life by seeing like his nephew and his ex-wife, right? Like, sorry, his nephew and his aunt or whoever it is. I forget who it is. But yeah, so he has that girl staying with them, and now like he sees what like a bad parent can do, and he's also struggling. But then he remembers and he sees like, yeah, his mom. He
Oh
just
yeah.
tells her, "Oh, you're just a stay-at-home mom. Like that's easy." And he's like, "Oh, that's it." Like I'm like, "Ah, no." Like, and that's where he's like, like you see his dad trying to defend his mom, saying, "No, she does a lot of things and things like that." And I was like, I really appreciated like them exploring that nuance and seeing like, yeah, that back in the day there was this like gendered divide, you know what I mean? And now it's like it's not really the case because people appreciate that, and there are stay-at-home dads and things like that. So it's still the case in a lot of ways, but it's not as much the case. So yeah, I thought that was really cool. Yeah.
And to kind of put it into perspective, he's gonna have another kid now at 50 years old.
Yeah.
So this is
Yeah.
kind of his turning point. Like now he's finally finding a purpose in his job, in his career, in his life, and on top of it all, he has a child now that he has to take
Yeah.
care of and make sure that they grow up right.
And I believe at the beginning he's kind of contemplating retiring, right? Like
Yeah.
he's kind of like, oh, I want to focus more time with the family. Kind of yeah, refocus my whole life and just be kind of at home with you guys, focusing on that. And obviously, kind of right before that happened, he kind of discovers these powers and kind of leads him a whole different direction. But in that sense, like that very well did seem like his true calling in that sense. But I love too, like kind of the aspect how he's had these powers forever, but he was, or for like his whole life, but he was just his anxiety and his fears of like going close to these fires actually stopped him from kind of fulfilling his true calling too. So yeah, that was very neat. This character is awesome. There's so many awesome characters. The little daughter,
Yeah.
right, Mia. She was so funny. Yeah, no, there was a lot of great characters. Even the
I love
villains.
the agents. Yeah, Agent
The agent
Goldenrod and Brown.
Goldenrod. What a name! What a name! Eh?
Yeah.
And his friend,
Goldenrod,
his
Agent
his
Brown.
cop friend too. His cop
Yeah,
friend was
Agent
pretty cool
Brown.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, his
Yeah.
cop friend's amazing. Is it
Reminds me
Sean?
of
Yeah.
Marshall.
Sean.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sean.
Yeah.
Reminds
And I
me
believe
of
Sean had like the alcoholic or no, sorry. Yeah, Julie, the alcoholic person who ended up passing away was Ruben's sister-in-law, I believe. That's who it was. It was Ruben's sister-in-law. So it was the wife's sister. But yeah, no, there was a lot of cool characters in here. But yeah, the definitely the agents were a cool touch. Like
Yeah,
they were
I
kind
love the issues
yeah.
where they capture one of the agents. It's just like her and him like talking shit to each other.
Yeah.
He's like when he puts the gag in her mouth and he's like, "This is clearly from your friend's personal collection. It tastes like dicks and Mentos." actually like that. I swear to God, like actually.
There were some great scenes, and yeah, speaking of that interrogation scene, could be my like favorite scene throughout the whole book was where they're trying to get the information of where they're coming out from, and then the wife kind of comes to the hotel where they're interrogating this girl. They send her in, and you just hear some screaming. She comes out, she has all the information, kind of that classic.
I liked how
yeah,
involved Annie was. Like she really like cared about her husband. She was like the opposite of Skylar from Breaking Bad. She's like the complete opposite. She's like literally the like complete opposite of Skylar. She's like, I'm gonna support you no matter what. You know, like we're in this shit together.
That's so good. She's like, I don't understand a lot of this stuff that you're talking about, all this like mythical fire beings that you're talking about, but like I want to learn this stuff with you.
You don't believe me? You don't believe me? She's like processing.
Yeah, no, she's very patient, way too patient. Yeah, no, she was great. He definitely has a very supportive circle going on here.
Yeah, I love that. I love how everyone's personalities got moments to shine throughout the book. Like really like, and that's like the hint of a really good writer who like, even when they don't have too much time throughout the series, like the nephew we were talking about who stays with them, I forget her name, the little girl, she still has a lot of big moments where she makes you laugh. Mia. And then, or his son, his teenage son, who's like, actually, he's like, you should be so happy for me. I just told I told a Jehovah's Witness to go fuck off. Jesus Christ. Like this book is actually hilarious. There's a lot of like laugh out loud lines. Like I really thought like it was very well written. So but let's talk about the artwork by Stefano Simeone. So you guys, if you've listened to the Radiant Black podcast before, you know this amazing artist from Radiant Black number 18, where he did the origin of Wendell. You know him from Supermassive 2024 with one of the most action-packed dynamic sequences of the entire MassiveVerse. And you know him from the Rogue Sun covers from this current arc. These were incredible Rogue Sun covers. Now this man has done his own book, creator-owned. So this is, he co-created this book with all these incredible designs. The artwork in this book is fantastic. I honestly couldn't believe that he did the art and colors. Like, I remember asking Brian, I was like, he did the art and colors? Like, yeah, did the art and colors, every issue. Like,
I wonder, does he always do his art and colors? As I
think it feels like he does do his own colors. Yeah, he did it for Supermassive, and I'm pretty sure he did it for Radiant Black. I could be mistaken on the Radiant Black, but I'm pretty sure he did. Yeah, so
because it has the same like
look,
aesthetic. Aesthetic,
that's
even,
super.
Like
if you
color this differently, it wouldn't look the same.
100%.
He also did every cover. And I assume colored his own covers too. So this guy, he carried the load here of the art and did a fantastic job. Like it was awesome. Yeah, we've gotten like you said, we've gotten little.
This book always came out on time, by the way.
Yeah,
just so everyone knows, it always came out on time. This book.
We got little hints and pieces of Simeone kind of throughout the MassiveVerse. But this was kind of the first time we got like a consistent like issue to issue, kind of just a long period of time with his art. So yeah, it was a great time. And yeah, his colors, like the fire, like the way he colors the fire and draws all that, like it literally looks like it's burning on the page. Like it's crazy.
He's so good with like pinks, yellows, and oranges. Like those hues in these pages and throughout this book are fantastic. Just seeing the flames, seeing the skies, when it's a nice day.
Yeah, which is funny because that's
great.
pretty much the exact like cover. Like the cover's
Yeah,
pink, yellow,
Yeah,
and that's an
much.
exclusive cover,
which is perfect.
That's not a cover for the series. That's a cover they did specifically for the trade. So that, man, Stefano's
okay,
a machine.
cool.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's incredible. But yeah, what would you guys think of the costume? What'd you guys think of the costume? Something different, very different.
I like it. It's
yeah.
pretty subtle. Like it's not something super kind of flamboyant or in your face. Nothing that will really stick out. Apart from the helmet, for me, it's the helmet design.
Yes.
That was my favorite thing. And if you've seen our Supermassive 2024 review, you can actually in one of the pages in the destroyed rubble of Chicago, you can see Ruben's mask on the floor, and I'm pretty sure in graffiti too it says Ruben on one of the walls. So that was a nice little shout out.
I love it. So yeah, we got so much to look forward to in terms of you know, the midlife. We only got the first 6 issues, and it did say end of story arc at the end of it. So when I asked Brian in our interview whether we had the chance to do more, and he said there's always a chance if the demand is there. We want to do more. So please, guys, check this book out. It's such a good book. And let's talk about some of our like favorite moments throughout the series before we close. In terms of review, I gave this book, the whole book, personally, a 4.5. Like that's my review. I thought it was pretty much perfect for what it was trying to do. I thought it achieved it. Yeah, very consistent book. It was fresh. I like how I was really worried about when they showed his powers and like what he could do specifically, because there's a little bit more nuance to his power. He can like move flames and things like that. I was worried it was going to get too ridiculous because like you could, you know, it could get like too ridiculous, kind of like, you know, there's other books like Sex Criminals where it's like too ridiculous. You know what I mean? Even though it's a good story, I feel like it's a little bit too much. I thought this was perfect. I really thought tonally they nailed it. The essence of the book is there. I love the message. I love the soundtrack, like the songs he had playing with the stories and everything. I love that moment when the guy tells him like, "Oh, like don't you forget about me." Like that's the anthem for our like generation. That was a really cool moment. Yeah, I don't know. I honestly loved this book. I really did. I've read it like 3 times now in its entirety, or maybe 4 times. I just love it.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, my favorite moment was the torture scene. First of all, and then
can we quote him? Can we get a call on that? That's gonna be a clip.
Okay.
We're just gonna play in every.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. When the wife gets the information, that's my favorite scene. And then also at the beginning, like it was so good. I find like they show the flashback, the way they flashback from the transition, like. He's about to enter the fire kind of department force, and his friends ask him like, oh, like, don't you know what you're gonna do with the rest of your life? And he's like, oh, like I still have no idea. And then it flashes to in the future him 50, and it shows like he has the exact same face, kind of just of like unsureness in his face. So I just think, yeah, Ruben as a character was done brilliantly. Like he really knocked it out of the park with Ruben. And yeah, all the fire, all the action, obviously there was lots of that. But I think the power set could have been a little generic, but they did a cool job with it. So
there's depth to it. Yeah, there's definitely depth to it.
Yeah. So I really think they nailed that. And do you guys want to talk about the twist too? We didn't really talk about that, but yeah, I guess the whole time Ruben looking up to his dad, the big kind of twist at the end was and we find out he inherits these powers. So these powers are kind of a genetic thing, and at the end we find out his mom was actually the one who had the powers,
because his dad's Asian. They said that. Yeah, his dad's Asian and his mom is I think Puerto Rican. So that's where we
didn't really get into the fire tribe, like the mythos and all that, but yeah, we find out she's kind of a descendant from this fire tribe who had these powers, kind of I guess someone mated with a mermaid, and kind of it's kind of just passed down through all these years. So yeah, we find out she was the one with these powers the whole time, and kind of she was going in to kind of protect her husband all these years, to kind of help.
They didn't know it was her either.
Kind of do that. So
that's doesn't take away the heroism, which is so good. Like it still makes his dad a hero because he risked his life doing all those things. It just means his mom is even more of a hero, because not only was she like his mom, and she raised him and she took care of him. She made sure he was safe. But at night, she did the same thing for her husband and for everyone else. So it's like
and
it's like a really
I think it's
didn't
cool.
take any of the glory either.
Yeah,
Didn't take any of the
didn't take
glory.
the-
Her husband's the one that's like, oh, he's a hero. He's such a great firefighter. But
yeah. So she lives his whole life. He lives it like thinking like obviously. Remember, there's a flashback where he says he loves his mom more. Sorry, his dad more. Because he thinks his dad is brave and he does all this, but in reality, it's like his mom is so much more brave and she's done so much more. And she never felt like she needed to be like credited for it. She just did it because it was the right thing to do.
Yeah,
you know, yeah,
yeah. So yeah, I think that was probably the biggest twist in the trade.
and
Fantastic. Really just nailed down every character. Like you said, every single character had their own moment. Like his mom kind of shine throughout, but like kind of just realizing that at the end just kind of changes everything going back through the issues. And reading
now you're
those
wondering like which one
discussions
of
of the
his kids has the
flashbacks
powers, right?
yes.
Are they gonna become the fireproof family like in the
That's
future,
true.
right?
You
Like
would think.
That's true.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the reason why I would love for there to be a continuation of this, because there's, even though these 6 issues alone by themselves were a great story, there's so much more that I feel like we can explore. We still haven't even touched the cipher, right? Or really went into
the fire
the
folk.
fire folk or the organization that opposes them. I forgot their name, fire prevention or something like that. Like there's so much we could do. And
Department
my
of Fire
favorite
Prevention.
yes, Department of Fire Prevention. And my like it gives me like it reminds me from like the Something's Killing the Children. They're kind of like they have this power, but they're not really government related, but they're secret, but they're super important. Like I kind of love that little twist. But my favorite moment was the first issue. Because from the moment he starts talking to the homeless man and his dog about, you gotta move, I knew like something bad was gonna happen, and the whole time I knew it was gonna happen until the moment I saw it, but it still hit you hard. Like he's going into the fire, and unfortunately he comes out with just the dog. But that was so well.
It's like
done,
a horror
that
movie. It's like a horror movie.
You know
right?
it's coming,
don't go
but it
in
still
that door.
hits.
Yeah, just don't.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah, it was such a good book. There's a lot of really memorable moments. I think that it shows you everyone took something different away and remembered, had a different favorite moment. It shows you that it really resonated with us in different ways, but it was strong. People had we had a good emotional reaction to it. So we probably pretty much end it there. Please support the book. We really want to get more midlife. I think, in a world where we have so many superhero comic books, it's really refreshing to get something different, something where it focuses more on the humanity, more on the family, more on the slice of life dynamics, but in a really engaging way, in a really emotional, compelling way. It almost feels like emotionally it has like the emotional core of a Daniel Warren Johnson book, but it has like, it's not violent. It's not like, because that's Daniel Warren Johnson's books are violent. They have a lot of action. This one's more like, it's funny. It's actually like genuinely hilarious.
There's
like,
a lot of funny moments. A lot of funny moments.
Like the first 3 pages of the book, like the first issue, are hilarious. They just talk about like bat nipples and how bad Batman and Robin was. It's like genuinely hilarious, Yeah. So I love this book. I'm really looking forward to more. Please check it out. If you read Midlife while it was out, or if you picked up the trade, let us know about your thoughts below. And if you're wondering about how it ties into the MassiveVerse, it's not part of the MassiveVerse, like we mentioned. There was an Easter egg, but it is written by a writer of the MassiveVerse, Brian Buccellato, aka the co-writer of No One, and it's drawn by Stefano Simeone, who's done the Radiant Black 18, Origin of Wendell. He's done Supermassive, and he's done covers for Rogue Sun and just a bunch of other things. So, it's made by MassiveVerse alumni, and we're so glad we got a chance to check it out. We loved it. Looking forward to more. Anyways, any last thoughts before we conclude here, gentlemen?
No, buy the book so we get more of it. And I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, they luckily they did end off on a fairly like good note. Like it's not like a huge cliffhanger, which is good. But yeah, like you guys said, there's so much more to explore in this world, and we need a volume 2. So yeah, I know I'm gonna keep supporting this book, and I'll always we're big fans of Brian always. So can't wait for volume 2. Fingers crossed. And this is a fun chat.
Yep, agreed. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us for our midlife review. And before we conclude here, I just want to give a quick shout out to our patrons. Did it change? Sorry, there we go. I don't know why our background's not working, but yeah, shout out to our patrons for supporting us all this time. I don't know why it's not coming up, but we got Eric H, Cameron L, Jordan C,
Joe J,
and yeah, I can't see the last one because it's so
you got
small.
Patrick and Noah, right?
Patrick,
Eric
No,
H. There's
and
also
Eric.
No, Patrick's last one. Yeah. Thank you so much for supporting us, guys. Thank you so much for being a Patreon. If you want to help support the show, check out, just leave a like, subscribe, a comment. It really helps if you rate our show, our podcast show on any podcast aggregator. And if you really want to go above and beyond, check out our Patreon. We have, it's 2 tiers. They're both pretty minor. And we do have a newsletter, which I'm sorry is late, but we're trying really hard to get it out very soon, sometimes the next couple of days. But it's really good. I'm really proud of the articles that the boys have put in, and it's been really fun editing the whole thing with them. So yeah, that's coming out very soon. We're doing, a few interviews. We're doing the reviews and everything like this we do on the Patreon, but we also have a few other things coming up. And I do want to say, thanks to our patrons, we're like 2 patrons away from being able to like self-sustain the show. So I'm so proud of that. So thank you so much, guys, for helping us out. Anyway, this has been Midlife, and we've had a great time. Check out the book, and we'll see you next time. Peace, everyone, and stay radiant.